In this video we're going to look at vulnerable post message 2, and before you watch this I recommend you watch the vulnerable post message video. Okay, so we'll launch the lab and we can see there's an iframe here, but there's no input, so let's have a look at the source and we can see the script that's adding an event listener. It's listening for messages, and when it receives one it does no verification of the origin and it takes the data and passes it to the iframe source attribute. Okay, so using a similar approach to the previous vulnerable post message lab, let's go into our payload hosting and let's start putting together an exploit. So we'll create a function that does the exploits, and we'll create an iframe so we don't trigger the pop-up blocker, and we'll call it on load so that there's no user interaction. So we're going to open a window and we're going to use the URL of the target lab, and we're going to target it at the exploit iframe, and then we're going to cause a 500 millisecond timeout to let it load, and when the timeout triggers we'll do post message, we'll send a URL and we'll make the target domain star. Okay, so I'll just save that, and the one other thing we need to do is create a target. Okay, so let's save that, launch, grab the URL of the target, and let's put that into our exploit. So let's save that and launch it. Okay, so our payload hosting lab has opened the target lab within an iframe, and in there we can see the iframe within that, and it's now been redirected to my target. Okay, so we've proven some ability to control this. Now let's grab the JavaScript payload we want to run, and instead of redirecting to our target page, let's redirect to a JavaScript URL. Okay, so the lab's opened, but it appears the redirect hasn't happened. And let's have a look in DevTools. So it's warning about an unsafe attempt to initiate navigation because the inner frame and outer frame are different domains. Now we do have the ability to control the inner frame, so what I'm going to do is do this in two parts. First of all, I'm going to redirect the inner frame to be the target lab, so it's the same domain, inner and outer are the same domain, and then we'll do a second attempt, and that will have the JavaScript URL. So first of all, after the first post message, we'll do another window.set timeout, so the second one will go to the JavaScript URL, and we want the first one to go onto the same lab domain. So let's save that, and when we launch it, oh, must have a slight typo in there. Sorry, it's window.set timeout. So let's try that again. And there we go. Our payload has triggered. Just to be sure we've successfully solved this, let's take that URL and send it to the headless browser. And there we go. We've successfully solved the lab.